Hi, my name is Dr. Dominique Royam, and today we're going to talk about musical semiotics, or how music tells stories without words. Semiotics is a relatively unusual word, but you use semiotics every day to interpret the world around you. We'll be focusing on music and using examples from sound effects, TV, and movies. Time for the big question. What is semiotics? Semiotics is the study of how information travels through non-linguistic systems, using signs to stand in for concepts. We know, for instance, that the following sign in the West means everything is okay, but this can be dated back to its alleged use by Roman emperors to signal whether a gladiator would live, hence be okay, or its reverse, thumbs down, signifying death. But in scuba diving, this sign means to go up to the surface, and by the side of the road, it means you want to hitch a ride. The surrounding culture of the sign is an important aspect to semiotics, and no semiotic system can be taken from the culture it was developed in. The term semiotics was first used before 1676 in English as the name to a branch of medical science dedicated to the study of signs. It developed in the next few hundred years to the study of the transfer of information through a number of different modalities, including text, pictures, and sound. Two of the first modern thinkers on the subject were an American, Charles Sanders Peirce, and a Swiss linguist, Ferdinand de Saussure. Peirce defined a sign as something which stands to somebody for something, and one of his major contributions to semiotics was the categorization of signs into three main types. One, an icon, which resembles its referent, such as a road sign for falling rocks. Two, an index, which is associated with its referent, as smoke is a sign of fire. And three, a symbol, which is related to the referent only by convention, as with words or traffic signals. Saussure made a distinction between the two inseparable components of a sign, the signifier, which in language is a set of speech sounds or marks on a page, and the signified, which is the concept or idea behind the sign. These concepts of sign and signifier define the modern study of semiotics today. Music has signs and signifiers as well. The music itself, whether the sound of it or the representation of it on paper, are signifiers, and the ideas behind those sounds are the sign. Through the work of Leonard Meyer, Robert Hatton, and Raymond Manel, and Kofi Agawu, we have come to understand and interpret the information that is created and passed on to us through music. One of the reasons semiotics works so well is that you and I have been trained to understand what certain music or images mean by the culture that surrounds us. Take the sad trombone sound effect or music cue. We associate the sound with the idea of failure, especially in a humorous situation. We were trained in this association by the sounds used in cartoons and other media. These situations were absurd failures of a character, like Wile E. Coyote being defeated in his outlandish attempts to catch the Roadrunner. In this example of the Roadrunner cartoon, you can hear the sad trombone figure in the trumpets. Another sound effect that has intense semiotic meaning is fanfares played by brass instruments, especially trumpets. The idea of using the trumpet for military communication started in the 12th century and continued until modern communication methods replaced it. Whole strings of troops' maneuvers could be communicated through different trumpet calls, making it the primary form of long-distance communication on the battlefield. Brass fanfares snuck into other corners of the lives of military personnel. Two such aspects of it are still used today. Fanfares like taps are played at military funerals, and the revelry is used to rouse soldiers at dawn. The trumpet call, or more broadly, any brass call, is a signifier for the associations of the military, but also have other associations such as valor, the introduction of royalty through the militarization of the royal house, and a call to arms. It has been used in music since the Baroque period to signify a connection to the military. As time progressed, the signified meaning became to be more complex and started to be associated with the feelings and motivations like valor. Raymond Manel, in his book The Musical Topic, details how the brass call, along with the associated military march, comprised the military topic and signified manliness, euphoria, heroism, adventurousness, and was evocative of noble deeds and reckless courage. One of the most evocative modern works to use this signifier is Aaron Copland's Fanfare for a Common Man. It was written at the behest of Eugene Goossens, conductor of the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, to fill out a series of fanfares that began all the concerts during World War II. It was inspired in part by a famous 1942 speech where the Vice President Henry A. Wallace proclaimed the dawning of the century of the common man. It is scored for 4 horns, 3 trumpets, 3 trombones, tuba, timpani, tam-tam, which is a large gong, and bass drum. You can hear Copland leaning into the emotional associations of the trumpet call in the work. He writes a very open call for the brass, conjuring a sense of gigantic scale. First with the trumpets alone, then cascading into the other sections of brass, he works the theme through the timbres that he has present in the work. By titling it A Fanfare for a Common Man, he turns the military associations of the trumpet call on its head, instead placing the valor, heroism, and courage at the feet of a normal person. This illustrates Copland's complex and deep knowledge of the signified meaning behind the fanfare, as he is able to reroute it into meaning something else. Our cultural language of music has been developing since the Baroque period and is standard in Western culture. We are trained in the meaning of these sounds since birth through children's programming and cartoons. We will dive more into the idea of musical semiotics and how it is used in music in the next video, Enter the Musical Semiotics 2. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. I have a lot of fun putting these videos together, and I love teaching the world about music. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos about exciting musical topics. You can also help support the creation of these videos on Patreon. The link to my page is down below. Follow me on social media. My handle is Dominique Royam everywhere. Thanks so much, and see you in my next video. It means you want to hitch a ride. Throw the cat out. Like Wile E. Coyote.